Good afternoon and happy Boxing Day, day after Boxing Day, which is the 27th. Today it is turkey pot daytime. So I'm gonna turn my camera down on this and show you what the pastry should look like after you've done mixing in with your hands the Tenderflake in this case, your lard, Crisco, whichever one it is you're preferring to use. It should look like crumbled oatmeal, which basically is what's going on there now. Then the next step is to add your egg, your vinegar, and your cold water. So I'm just giving this a little stir. I should have had my fork in it still, but I don't. So we are going to attempt to mix this in. And typically you can probably use most of the liquid, but sometimes it just does not want to. You don't need it just because of the temperature of everything, that you're not going to need all the liquid. And if you get a little too much in, you can always add more flour. Now I'm going to use it all today because I actually shorted the amount of liquid in it. I used 3/4 of a cup total, more or less, instead of 3/4 of a cup plus the egg and the vinegar. So this is coming together nicely. And like I say, you don't want to overwork your pastry dough. So I'm going to pull this away from the sides. It's a little bit sticky, which is what I want. Then I'm going to grab some saran wrap, make this into a nice bowl like so, and then it is going in the fridge while, I'm just going to tip this up for you. This is going to go in the fridge while I start doing the turkey pot pie. And in the past I've done individuals, and I can do 8 small turkey pot pies, but we're going to make probably one about an 8-inch because there's 4 of us eating this evening, and then I will do the rest in small containers. Okay, I am going to roll out the pastry dough that I showed you earlier that I'd mixed. So we've got some flour, and I'm going to measure it and see how much I need. And I have 376 grams on my handy dandy little scale that I keep close always. I'm going to press it a little bit with my hand. I've had it in the fridge, but I've taken it out so that it comes back to room temp. And sprinkle in a light little bit of flour both. And then we start rolling it, keeping the edges together of the dough so it doesn't come apart. And try and make the best circle that I can. And it's just practice to get dough to work. Now I'm going to lift it because I want to make sure that it's not sticking too much. Another light spread of flour, and I'm going to put some more down. And a sprinkle. And some more rolling. And we have our grandson in the background singing with us this afternoon. He recently got up and he had some of the lovely pot pie as well. Now this piece of pastry, I'm just going to put it back, put it together. It's one thing with pastry, even though it can be kind of crumbly, you can work with it with your hands. Just put it together. And I don't want it too thick for the pie because it's on the bottom of the... And you can make a chicken pot pie with or without a bottom crust. We kind of like pastry, so we typically make it with. Now, if I was super talented, I'd be able to roll this pastry on my rolling pin, but I'm not super talented. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. So I think it's about the right amount now, so I'm just going to gently lift it off of my granite here. Hopefully it doesn't stick too bad. And then I'm going to grab my tin, lift the rest, plop it in like so, and tuck it in fairly tight because it will kind of lift up. And then I'm going to make fork holes in it too, just so that it doesn't have any air bubbles. Maybe not necessary, but something I do. So that, if you could give me a sec, I'm going to grab my knife. I'm just going to cut off the excess pastry. And that is our bottom crust. And out of curiosity, I'm gonna weigh this. I have 77, I started with 376, so basically you need more than 300 to roll it out because you need excess, but I was pretty close to what I need. So we're gonna take a break here. I'm gonna fill it with the chicken pot pie filling next, and then we're gonna make a top crust. So catch you again in 3. Okay, we are now going to fill with the pot pie mixture. I put 2 cups in. I'm using a measuring cup just because it's easier. I have a bad shoulder and I can't lift this pot. It's too full for me. So now we have about 4 cups in there. Just gonna spread that out and see what it looks like. 'Cause I want it fairly full, but I don't want it that it's gonna run over in the oven. But I am going to put 1 more cup in there. So this is about 5 cups in this, and I think it's about an 8-inch pan. Okay, so this is looking rather yummy. The next step is to roll out the top, and we're gonna put a layer of milk all the way around the edge so it seals nice and tight, and roll that out here in just a couple minutes. And you don't need as much pastry for the top as the bottom, so I'm gonna take a guess at 200 grams, and we'll see how that goes.
And so what are the fork holes? Can you describe that?
Oh, fork holes are just like, whoops, sorry. And it just helps, if the pastry wants to puff up, it'll let the air escape. So rather than getting a bubble in the pastry, it holds the bubbles down. It just gives it air is all it's doing.
And you did that around the lip and then the bottom of
the bottom of the pan.
all over?
Have fork holes all over.
How many fork holes did you put in, do you think?
I would say about 10 to 12 in the bottom and probably about 15 on the top.
And then if you overfill your pie, is it better to underfill it than overfill it or something?
I prefer to underfill because it's going to leak all over your oven, which makes for quite a mess. And I usually put a baking sheet under it anyway, but you don't want to lose the good stuff because it's all your fluids that are going to leak out, not the pieces of carrot and peas.
And then turkey. What's going to happen with the rest of the...
We are going to make baby turkey pot pies.
Yay.
These are individuals, so as a rule I can get 1 big one and probably at least, looking by the feel, I'm going to say at least another 6 pot pies with the amount I made today. So, and I will be posting the recipe afterwards as well, folks. So I am back. We're going to put the lid, as I call it, on top of the pie. So I ended up measuring 230 grams of pastry for the top of my pie. And this pie pan, you may have noticed it's got edges on it, which a lot of them don't, but I don't mind that this one does. So now we're gonna, I guess I should go get my cream. I was gonna put that on there on that edge. I'm just gonna grab my creamer here, pour a little bit in here. And now I'm going to simply go around with my fingers on this edge, which I was going to do before, but I forgot, but it's no big deal. Just gonna lift it. It's kind of like making glue for your pastry. There. So now we've got this part done. And these holes don't matter because I'm going to make steam hole marks in the pastry anyway. So where there's a hole, it's not a big deal for the top layer. And I'm just going around with my thumb right now, pushing the 2 pastries together so they get together like a glue. And then we're going to cut that off now. You can actually buy a fancy little thing to make a nice edge on your pies. I don't have one, so I'm going to show you the old-fashioned way to do it. So that was very close using 230. I'm going to take my fork, and if it starts to stick, you can put it in your milk, and it helps to give it a nice brown edge as well. And I'm just going to go all the way around my pie and seal those edges. And then we're going to make some extra steam hole because we want the steam to escape so your pie, I guess, doesn't blow up, you could say. I don't think it would actually blow up, but the steam does need a place to go. So You need to put, and I just make a design with my knife, and I usually just go bing, blink, blink, blink. I kind of cut it almost as if I was cutting it into pieces. It looks nice and pretty. Now, if you like, you can brush this with milk to make it brown. I have a steam oven, and my steam oven makes my crust nice and brown, so I'm not going to take that step, but you easily could if you wanted. Okay, next step, we're gonna bake the pie. In my convection steam oven, we're gonna start with 400 degrees for 20 minutes, then we're gonna turn it 180 degrees, turn it down to 350, and finish cooking it for another 20-25 minutes till it's nice and golden brown. Okay, folks, we have a chicken pot pie that is fully cooked now. I was gonna get a video before it all got cut into, but my family was too hungry. So anyway, just wanna show you how nicely browned it was. You can see this is where the milk and stuff was, that it's a little bit browner. And you let it rest for about 10 minutes after you take it out of the oven so that it settles, just like a lasagna. And it's thickened up real nice. It's not running all over the place. The undercrust was cooked just the way you want it, crispy, and that's by doing it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and then turning it down so that you don't burn the bottom of it, but you need it to keep cooking and get that golden brown look. So it turned out marvelous, to say the least. It was so good. So anyway, that is the chicken pot pie. Watch for the recipe underneath. Have a great evening. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you again. Here's. So, peace out. I will be back with you later when the turkey pot pies are ready to go. Bye.